What if I told you the Los Angeles Dodgers are quietly preparing for life after Max Muncy, and the Red Sox and Pirates just made the first moves that could trigger it? Nobody saw this coming. Not after Muncy's clutch October moments. Not after everything he's meant to this lineup. But in baseball, loyalty doesn't stop front offices from planning ahead. And when other teams start reshuffling elite infield talent, the Dodgers don't watch, they calculate. Is LA about to shock the league with a trade for the next franchise third baseman? Or is this all smoke before a blockbuster fire? Stay with me because what's happening behind the scenes could completely change the future of Dodger Blue. Right now, across MLB, we're seeing aggressive front offices making bold decisions. The Red Sox just made their move. The Pirates pulled off a deal that raised eyebrows. Teams aren't waiting around anymore. They're acting early, setting the board before the rest of the league even realizes what's happening. And when other contenders start shuffling key infield pieces, the Dodgers are always watching, always calculating, always 3 steps ahead. So the big question Dodgers fans need to ask is simple but uncomfortable. Are the Dodgers preparing to trade for a successor to Max Muncy at third base? Let's be clear. This is not about disrespecting Muncy. This is about realism. Max Muncy has been one of the most impactful power hitters of the Dodgers' modern era. His postseason home runs, his patience at the plate, his ability to grind out at-bats when nobody else could. That's championship DNA. But baseball doesn't pause for nostalgia. It doesn't reward loyalty over production. It rewards timing. It rewards foresight. And the Dodgers are masters at planning transitions before the rest of the league even sees them coming. Muncy has dealt with injuries in recent seasons. His swing has gone through mechanical adjustments. There have been stretches where he looks locked in and unstoppable, and then stretches where the strikeouts pile up and the timing disappears. That's the reality of a power hitter entering the later stage of his career. The question isn't whether he can still contribute. The question is how long the Dodgers are willing to build around volatility at a premium infield position. And when you look at what just happened around the league, especially with the Red Sox and Pirates reshuffling talent, it's impossible not to connect the dots. The Red Sox have been aggressive in retooling. When Boston moves controllable talent, that always sends signals. It means they're either consolidating for a bigger splash or clearing positional logjams. The Pirates, quietly building something competitive, are no longer content to just rebuild. They're testing the market. They're evaluating value. And when mid-market teams start dealing infielders, the Dodgers are absolutely on those phones. Why? Because the Dodgers operate with a simple philosophy. If there's a controllable ascending bat with defensive upside available, they will at least explore it. Third base is not a plug-and-play position for a contender. It demands range, arm strength, instincts, and ideally power. You don't replace a Max Muncy with a random utility bat. You replace him with someone who can anchor that corner for 5 years. The Dodgers' internal options are interesting, but not guaranteed. Yes, they have positional flexibility across the roster. Yes, they can rotate pieces, but flexibility is not the same as long-term stability. And if there's one thing the Dodgers value more than anything, it's long-term stability at key defensive spots. Imagine this scenario. The Dodgers see a young third baseman stuck behind a contract situation in Boston, or a Pirates infielder who is entering arbitration years, controllable but expensive for a smaller market team. That's the exact type of player Los Angeles targets. Someone talented enough to start immediately but young enough to grow into the role. And here's where it gets even more strategic. If the Dodgers believe Muncy is best suited long-term as a DH or rotational power bat rather than everyday third baseman, they can preserve his value while upgrading defensively. That's not a demotion. That's optimization. Think about how the Dodgers handled transitions in the past. They don't make emotional cuts. They layer talent. They overlap eras. They slowly shift roles until the change feels inevitable rather than shocking. When Corey Seager left, they were ready. When Justin Turner aged out of the everyday role, they were ready. The Dodgers don't get caught without a plan. So if Boston or Pittsburgh is moving pieces that create a domino effect in the infield market, the Dodgers front office is absolutely analyzing it. And here's the scary part for the rest of the league. The Dodgers have the prospect capital to outbid almost anyone. They can offer pitching depth. They can offer young outfielders. They can offer MLB-ready arms that rebuilding teams crave. And they can do it without gutting their system. That's the advantage of sustained development. From a financial standpoint, it also makes sense. Muncy's contract situation, depending on timing, gives the Dodgers flexibility. They aren't locked into a decade-long deal at third base. That means they can pivot without absorbing massive dead money. They can be proactive instead of reactive. Now let's talk clubhouse impact, because that matters. Max Muncy isn't just a stat line, he's a voice. He's been through October battles. He's hit postseason bombs that changed entire series. Replacing that leadership isn't simple, but the Dodgers have built a culture where veterans mentor the next wave. A young third baseman coming into this clubhouse wouldn't be stepping into chaos. He'd be stepping into structure. And if you're thinking this is just speculation, remember something important. The biggest trades in Dodgers history were once quiet whispers. Nobody thought Mookie Betts was actually realistic until it happened. Nobody believed certain midseason pitching acquisitions were guaranteed until they were wearing Dodger blue. The Dodgers front office thrives in silence. If they're evaluating a successor, you won't hear about it until momentum is already built. Let's break down the baseball logic. Offensively, the Dodgers prioritize on-base percentage and power. They can tolerate strikeouts if the damage is real, but defensively, they value range and arm reliability. If there's a younger third baseman with elite defensive metrics and emerging power, that fits their blueprint perfectly. And think about roster balance. If Shohei Ohtani is locked into DH for pitching preservation, that limits flexibility. Muncy rotating into DH becomes more complicated. That pushes the Dodgers to ensure third base is covered by someone who can handle 140-plus games defensively. This isn't about replacing Muncy tomorrow. It's about planning for October 2 years from now. The Red Sox and Pirates deals could indirectly create availability. Sometimes a team doesn't trade a player because they want to. They trade because they have to adjust payroll or make room for another acquisition. That's when the Dodgers strike. They wait for pressure points. They let other teams feel urgency. Then they enter with leverage. If the Dodgers believe there's a third baseman who can provide 5 to 6 years of prime production, they will act before the price explodes. They've done it before. For Dodgers fans, this is both exciting and emotional. Max Muncy has delivered unforgettable moments. But sustained championships require evolution. The Braves evolve, the Astros evolve, the Dodgers have to stay ahead. The National League is not getting easier. Young teams are rising. The Padres won't disappear. The Diamondbacks are aggressive. If the Dodgers see a potential weakness at third base in 2 seasons, they won't wait until it becomes a problem. They'll fix it early. And let's not ignore the psychological edge. When contenders make visible upgrades, it sends a message. If the Dodgers trade for a young, high-upside third baseman while Muncy is still productive, it signals long-term dominance planning. That's how dynasties operate. The key question now is timing. Do they move this offseason? Do they wait until the trade deadline when a team like Pittsburgh reassesses its position in the standings? Or do they quietly lay groundwork now and strike next year? Every path is on the table. But make no mistake, the Dodgers are evaluating third base internally and externally. They always are. The front office studies aging curves. They study exit velocity trends. They study defensive range regression. If they see a dip coming before it becomes obvious, they will transition smoothly. That's what separates them from reactive franchises. So when you see Red Sox and Pirates deals shaking up infield depth charts, don't treat it as random noise. Treat it as a market movement. And when markets move, the Dodgers move smarter. The future of third base in Los Angeles may not be settled yet. Max Muncy may still have big October swings left. But behind closed doors, succession planning is real. And if a young, controllable impact bat becomes available, especially from a team adjusting its payroll structure, the Dodgers will not hesitate. This isn't panic, it's preparation. And Dodgers fans should understand one thing clearly. Preparation is why this franchise stays in contention every single year. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more Dodgers trade breakdowns, rumor analysis, and inside baseball strategy, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should the Dodgers ride with Max Muncy long-term, or is it time to quietly secure the next cornerstone at third base? The conversation is just getting started, and the next big move could be closer than anyone expects. What if I told you the Los Angeles Dodgers are quietly preparing for life after Max Muncy, and the Red Sox and Pirates just made the first moves that could trigger it? Nobody saw this coming. Not after Muncy's clutch October moments. Not after everything he's meant to this lineup. But in baseball, loyalty doesn't stop front offices from planning ahead. And when other teams start reshuffling elite infield talent, the Dodgers don't watch, they calculate. Is LA about to shock the league with a trade for the next franchise third baseman? Or is this all smoke before a blockbuster fire? Stay with me, because what's happening behind the scenes could completely change the future of Dodger Blue.